you.
Coach, how's it going?
It's going well. We've had a good start to the summer, a couple of weeks in, and excited about the group.
Talking to Adam about you coming into the offseason with a little bit different attitude. I think I read an article by Craig Morgan where you said, I'm finally embracing NIL and transfer portal.
I've been focused. We worked really hard in the off season with fundraising and the portal and high school, and we just really got after it and did the best we could to try and put together a team that has potential. And there's a lot of optimism. I've seen a lot of good things happen so far. We're not entirely complete yet. We're still a couple of guys short that'll be joining what we're doing here in the short term. So we're excited about what we're putting together.
Was that a change in attitude from you? I read where you were talking about, hey, I'm a traditionalist, right? I'm dedicated to Duke. I played there. That's the way I looked at basketball, and now it's different.
Yeah, I've always been a purist about the game and especially the collegiate model, but it's a different world and you have to adapt. And I've tried to, like I've said, I think come out of my comfort zone to really ask for more assistance from our key donors and people have really stepped up in support of our collective, and so it's enabled us to have the opportunity to bring in some guys that I think are really prepared to compete in the Big 12 this year.
Adam said he learned not to F with you with the way you recruited and were so aggressive this offseason. I mean, how does that feel
Can
to
you
hear?
repeat that?
I have to keep it clean, but that is what he said. Yeah, you know your nickname, right, on social media, so it's just revisiting that. But just how does that feel to hear your player as a veteran like that kind of taking on that leadership role and appreciating the moves you've made?
Yeah, Adam was a winner, most of his career, and he didn't like going through last season. So I think he is excited to see the talent that we've added to the roster, and that the competitiveness in our workouts now is probably telling him that there's good things to come if we continue to stay the course. It's going to inspire him to work harder. He knows he's got to step up his game because we got some really good players in the gym, and so I'm excited that he feels that way.
What are you looking forward to in the Big 12? What are you looking forward to? Just in the Big 12, just moving to the Big 12.
I like new challenges, and I like the new matchups, and I like the fact that people consider it to be one of the top basketball conferences, if not the premier basketball conference of college basketball. It wouldn't be surprising to me this year if potentially 10 teams, based on what the whole league has done, and I followed very closely the recruiting cycles and the portal work that the whole conference has done is been excellent work. So I think we're going to be very competitive across the board in the non-conference, and really our metrics should be really good to have more teams have a chance to get in the NCAA tournament.
What do you think the makeup of this team is going to allow you to do this year that maybe you weren't able to do last year?
There's going to be guys that you cannot forget about that are on the floor. There's going to be guys that could put the ball in the basket. I felt that last year's team that we were limited in some ways offensively to not be able to shoot the basketball well, not be able to shoot free throws well, not be able to score around the basket. And I think a lot of things we've done in the portal have addressed those things. And we've also brought in a lot of guys that have been the top player on their team. So there's going to be an adjustment to playing with other really good players, but I have confidence in what I'm seeing in terms of their ability to share the ball. And so overall, there's just better players in the gym. I mean, sometimes it's as simple as that.
And chemistry-wise, last year, I mean, obviously the trip to Greece, but I'm talking to Adam too. You can't force it, but with him and obviously Sean back, what are some of the things you can do to kind of speed up the chemistry building with the team?
I think we have we've recruited good people, good guys that they seem to get along well together. They're very focused guys. Like some of our premier portal guys have 1 year left, and they have to make this year work. And they're not thinking about just whatever they did in the portal financially. They're looking at like their future as pros potentially. And we have high school guys that have tremendous reputations that are on NBA draft radar, that are going to come in here and with something to prove and motivated to do more beyond this year. So I think we have the returning players don't want to go through another season like that. They have their own individual reasons why they want to make this, a winning situation. So I really like what we put together, the components of it, and just everybody's approach so far.
Are you already kind of getting a bit of a glimpse of what the newcomers' roles are going to be come the beginning of the season, specifically the freshmen?
Amir Ali's been very impressive, and he, of the three guys, is the lowest rated, but I mean, he was like 51 in ESPN, but because he's 6'8", could really shoot it. Some of our shooting drills initially, and his shot making has been exceptional so far. I mean, Jaden Quinence is special, and that's the, I could keep it real simple. What he's going to be, over the next couple of years is scary because of his approach and his makeup and his physical tools and his instincts for the game, all the things that he does. So I haven't had Joe Son yet. Joe Son is playing, one more AAU event for his AAU team here in about 10 days, and then he'll be on campus shortly after that. He's fulfilled all his academic requirements, so he reclassed up from 25 to 24, so he literally just finished, and we're getting him admitted to school. So it's going to be exciting to see that class. I mean, those three guys are going to be, immediate impact guys for us.
Is he the only guy who?
Having a 16-year-old and he's a grown man,
He's a grown man, physically and how he competes, but his mentality is very advanced for a 16-year-old. He's not the type of kid that's just, he's got his act together. Like, he is very focused. He works at it as hard as anybody in the program for that age. He's very grounded. He's like how Lou Dort walked in the door for me with his humility. His upbringing shows that he's been raised really well to be about the right things, and he's been extremely coachable too. He's yes sir, yes coach, I got it. Anytime you're trying to suggest something to Jaden Quinence, he's been very receptive and open to that. But there's things that he does that the coaches can't teach. He's just he's very, very gifted guy.
This is the third straight year you've had a considerable roster turnover. Sometimes you have chemistry, sometimes it doesn't work, but do you have a take early on as to where you are with that part of it?
I'm still evaluating that. I think, like I touched on earlier, the makeup of the guys are good. Like they're I don't see a lot of selfishness or issues right now that are appearing to surface. Now things are going to change when we really get in the trenches as we get closer to the season. I think most coaches feel good about what they have right now until the reality of the season hits. But they're at times in my career at this time of year, I'd be up in the office and you could hear a pin drop in the gym, and man, that's just not what we're doing here right now. That we've collected a bunch of guys here that are very focused on getting better. It's we're limited with the time we could spend with them right now, but you're hearing basketball's bouncing, and guys are in the gym on their own, so that's a really positive sign too.
Is this the most excited you've been in a while?
This team, in my estimation, must stack up with the best teams that I've had from a personnel standpoint. And if it doesn't, then you can just point the finger at me because we've done our job to build a team. We think it makes sense. We think we have a lot of components. A really good basketball team. It's just a matter of getting everyone here. We have a couple guys that weren't out today that just have minor stuff going on, and then once we get it all together, I think it could be something that's pretty good.
So when a guy like Austin Nunez is almost like a fourth returning player?
Yeah, Austin's been super. He really got stronger over that year. That SEC lifting program paid off for him, put on some pounds. But his whole demeanor has been better too. Like he's more outgoing. I think as a freshman here, even though he had flashes of really good games, he a little bit on the quiet side. He's been more of one of our best leaders and communicators, early in the summer. So that's been really positive.
And with Sean Phillips, what development have you seen from last year to this year?
Sean is, I think, been more in control of his emotions, and that's just about sticking to business and playing and trying to get better. He shattered all our records of vertical leap, and all his stuff that he does athletically is just scary, and he came in good shape. he just got to keep getting repetitions. He's, we have some young guys coming in that we're excited about, but Sean is still very young to the game, so we just got to keep, being patient with his development, but he's going to continue to take steps, and I think he'll have older guys around him and some exciting young players to help his development too.
How difficult a conversation was it to convince your son to come back?
He and I are attached at the hip for obvious reasons. We're super tight, and had that extra year, wanted to get his master's. It all fit very well. So I'm excited to have him. That's my guy.
Did you put him on scholarship then too?
We did, and some things in recruiting at the end did break exactly how we'd hoped. It happens. I think people take notice of what you've done in the portal and in the high school recruiting, and then people got to make decisions, and we respect that. But it opened the door to have someone on scholarship, and I told the players, like, this guy's been here longer than anybody. He's worked as hard as anybody in the program. He's seen what an NCAA tournament team looks like here. He's been on that, so he knows what it takes, and he's going to be a great leader. He's going to be great in the locker room. He's going to do all the things that we need a scholarship player to do.
Is it hard to nowadays to maintain 13 scholarships? Because I know twice you got a big recruit and somebody decommitted the next day. So is it just hard in the nature of everybody wanting to play to have 13 scholarship players?
You should have 10, 11 guys that you're going in thinking could play, any type of minutes, because you got to be mindful of injury and different things that could happen throughout a year, and to protect yourself for that. After that number, it gets scary trying to either keep players happy, and now with no restrictions, it's harder to convince someone, hey, that you think is really good, hey, come over here and just not play this year or redshirt. It's just, in this climate, it's becoming more difficult to do that. To answer your question, I think we're at the number that we could get to that guys felt comfortable coming in, competing, and have an opportunity to play.
What was your approach balancing the number of transfers and number of freshmen?
My goal this year was to bring 3 freshmen in that I have a really strong feeling are going to be impact players, and all 3 of them have Joe Son's not here yet, but I saw him a few weeks ago, and he was like lights out in a AAU event, as good as any player in the event, and there were some other NBA players there. So I have high hopes for him. But yeah, the other 2 guys too are going to be instant impact guys, freshman guys that are coming in, and I think they have to be a part of the difference makers on our team.
Will you be watching the Olympics, and what excites you most about the squad for both the men and women in basketball in Paris?
It is. It's I haven't put a ton of thought into it, but we were just upstairs. Who's going to be the top 3? Who's going to finish? Who's going to medal out? And guys were kicking around different countries that they thought, but it's exciting. The U.S. obviously, and Canada's got a really loaded perimeter. Of really good players. France, Greece. I mean, and then Slovenia with Luka. So there's a bunch of high-level teams. Should be a great event.
What were some of your thoughts, Bobby, on the Big 12 schedule released last week? And you got some really outstanding home games coming up this year.
Yeah, Tim, I'm excited about that. Just the opportunity to have some of those heavy hitters. I think we might have 3 or 4 top 15 teams preseason coming in to play here. So that's exciting for our fan base, for our players. And then our road games are very, very good too. So I think there was no issues on our end. I thought we have a really good schedule put together. And the next few weeks, I think you'll start to see some more with our non-conference stuff coming out. We're finalizing contracts. I'm crazy as I've ever been with that. So you won't be disappointed. There'll be some pretty good games on the non-conference schedule.
Thanksgiving in Palm Springs, right?
That's right. That is public. That's done, and we don't have our opponent yet exactly, but we're in there with New Mexico and St. Mary's and obviously USC. So quality field there in Palm Springs.
Coach, just quickly looking back, how much of a sounding board were you for your brother with that Lakers job?
I let him do his thing and kind of use my advice as he needed, and we spoke a few times, and the conversations were different as you're talking about things that I wouldn't be talking about in the college basketball world, free agency and draft picks, and coaching LeBron and all those things. But I mean, he made the best decision for him and for his family, and and you know, he's got a chance to go for 3 championships, which hasn't been done since John Wooden. So, and he's got, you know, the type of team that will put him in a position to at least have a chance to do that. So it's understandable, you know, why he chose to do what he did. And like me, I think, you know, we just love coaching younger guys too, that you could really mold and develop and be a part of their journey. Like, I know how satisfying it was for Dan to be in New York with seeing 4 of his players get drafted just, you know, a week ago. So things like that really, you know, motivate him as well. So I'm happy for him.
Can you talk about the addition of Jarence Howard and how instrumental he was on the recruiting trail?
Yeah, I think our whole staff like knocked it out just in that regard, just our cohesiveness, our the job we did in with our official visits, the compliments we got from families that talked about how connected our staff appeared to be throughout their recruiting process. So I mean, to single out anybody, it's hard to do, but certainly Jarence is a guy that's had Big 12 experience at the highest level at Kansas and working for Bill Self at Kansas and Illinois and being at Texas. So he's been in a lot of, you know, high-level recruiting battles, and you know, he's good in recruiting, he's good on the court, he's good at connecting with the players, and I think, you know, our staff has done a really good job with that across the board.
And Coach, with scheduling too, I know obviously you said non-conference will see, but in the, you know, a few years, is there a chance other former Pac-12 foes will be down that non-conference?
I think that makes sense. I think all the Pac-12 coaches that have just left would be in agreement to try and figure out opportunities to do that. And I know Graham Rossini, who was here today to watch workouts, was talking about that very same thing, whether it's football or basketball, to make sure we keep our connections to the West Coast and make sure that those recruiting bases get to see our program. So it makes total sense to keep doing that, for sure.
What's your take on Graham and what he's done since he took over, and your take on your dealings with him?
Yeah, it's been really good. It started with Jim Rund as we were in transition. I've had a ton of really good conversations with him one-on-one, and then that's transitioned now with Graham, and met with him quite a bit, talking about the program, what things we need for you know, the transition to the Big 12, and what program things we need. And he's really emphasized the importance of football and basketball, the success of the whole athletic department. So we are very unified and trying to make that a reality.
Guys, good?